Jim, have you ever felt mentally drained before your day even begins? Like, no matter how much sleep you got, like for real, no matter how much sleep you got, you still wake up feeling empty. The truth is, many of us are overspending the most valuable resource that we have, and that's our mental energy. Hey Jim, welcome back. I am the Latoya Matthews, your Freedom Ambassador, and I am on a mission to prepare women who've experienced abortion and trauma into true freedom and lasting transformation. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you can tune in every Wednesday to get these videos. And don't forget to share with a friend, because why you gatekeeping? Share the info, girl. All right. So I'm excited about today's video because we're talking about how to stop overspending your mental energy. And I don't know about y'all, but I was giving my energy to so many things, and I had to really step back and take a look. I spent 18 years in banking, right? I don't know if you know that. 18 years in banking. And when we set up accounts for people, we always let them know the tools that were available to them. Like through your online banking, you have tools to budget, to help keep account of the money that is going out, what you're spending, and you set budgets. And when you get to that point, it'll take you over into the yellow or the red. And just like our finances, where we making sure that we're not overspending, we have to set a budget for the mental energy that we're giving out also. And there's a reason why Luke 5:16 said that Jesus often withdrew. Often he withdrew to go be by himself and pray. And it wasn't just because he wanted to be alone. It was because people were pulling on him. His energy was being drained because people wanted to be healed. People wanted, access to him. And he had to, go away so that he can go talk to the Father, so that he wouldn't get away from the mission of why he came to earth. And so many times we are overspending in things that we should not be overspending in. And that's why in today's video, I want to talk about three things, right? I want to talk about how to identify where you're overspending, setting boundaries, and where you need to be making investments. Investing in your mental energy, investing so that you can get freedom. And so, as you know, I got my handy dandy notes. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. And so I want to make sure that you're not overspending and that you're not exerting that mental capacity that needs to be going towards the things that God has called you to, or energy that needs to be going towards your marriage, or energy that needs to be going to your children, in the areas that you value and that matters, right? So number one, identify where you're overspending. Where are you pouring your time emotionally as well as mentally? Where are you pouring your time? Because we don't realize that we're giving our energy to things that don't matter. We're giving our energy to worrying. We're giving our energy to comparing ourselves. We're giving our energy to the things that we're trying to control that can't be controlled. They're uncontrollable. And we're saying yes to people please. And we're saying yes out of, the feeling of I'm obligated to say yes to this person because they did this for me. So I have to show up for them. And so we're mentally giving this energy towards things. But here's the thing. When you can identify where you're overspending, then you can take action. In the banking world, we would tell our clients, is like, you got to identify where you're overspending. Are you overspending on Amazon? Are you overspending on eating out? Because when you can identify, you can take action to not give out as much as you've been giving out. And the one thing that I want you to do is I want you to go to each one of these categories and identify where you have been overspending. And then I want you to say, is this draining you, or is this low draining, or is it high? So the categories that I want you to think about is the emotional, the mental, the relational, the spiritual, and as well as your personal goals. Because we're overspending because we're overspending, sorry, because it's not in alignment with what we value and is not in alignment with our purpose. And so we're overspending, which is causing mental exhaustion. We're pouring out, but not being poured back into. And I know that many of you are pouring out and you're doing it because you want to please people. You're doing it because you want the validation. And if I can be really honest, especially if you are a woman of faith, we do it in the name of serving. We serve and we serve and we serve, and we're mentally giving out all this energy serving while not coming to get poured back into. Because we do it because we want people to know that we're not bad people. We're doing it to outserve our past. We're doing it for a number of reasons, but it doesn't align with who God created you to be. So that's number one. Identify where you're overspending. Number two, set boundaries for mental spending. We have to set boundaries. And yes, I'm side-eyeing you because I know you don't like to set boundaries. Boundaries are kryptonite to some people because the minute they set them and they start to enforce them and people start to push back on those boundaries that you've set, you just drop them. But just like we have spending limits on our finances, we have to have spending limits when it comes to our mental energy that we're giving out. Proverbs 4:23 says, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. If you're not guarding your heart, you're just going to continue to give. You're going to spend and spend and spend until there's nothing left. If you don't set boundaries, all you're doing is setting up yourself to bankrupt. All you're doing is setting up yourself to overdraw. And if you're not careful, it is going to deplete you to the point of where you have a breakdown. So we have to put boundaries up on the areas in which we are spending. So that means when we're setting boundaries, that may look like limit the time that you're scrolling on social media. Stop working on, and the other thing is stop working on things that don't align with your values or your purpose, the things that God have called you to work on. Many of us are working outside of the boundaries that God has set in place for us to work in because somebody else is doing it, so I'm going to do it too. Somebody else gave, so I'm going to give too. Somebody else did X, Y, and Z, so I'm going to do it too. When you operate outside of the boundaries, you set yourself up for an ambush. You set yourself up to deplete yourself. And there's no way you can serve your family, serve yourself, serve your children, serve in your marriage if you don't have the mental capacity to do so. And we are draining ourselves because it looks good, it sounds good, and we can tell people that we've accomplished something. But if you don't have boundaries, you're in for a rude awakening. And I don't want that for you in 2025. So one of the things that I want you to do is create no-go zones. This is a no-go. When somebody call and say, hey, can you do this for me? It's a no-go. Because I'm tired. I need to rest my body. Somebody says, I need you to create this because you would be good at this. Oh no, it's a no-go. Because this is where God wants me right now. So I need you to set up no-go zones and adhere to those no-go zones so that you're not expending more energy than you need to. No longer are we overextending. No longer are we overcompensating. No longer are we going over just to appease. No-go. Set up no-go zones so that you don't begin to exhaust yourself. right? So that's number 2, set boundaries for mental spending. Number 3, invest in and prioritize your mental freedom. Here's the thing. Matthew 6:21 says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." You'll invest on Shein, you'll invest in Amazon, but you won't invest in your mental. You won't even prioritize it. Because if we want to see increase in our lives, it's going to take investing. Increase comes from investing. Are you setting time aside to pray, read your word, and sit with that word and reflect on what God is speaking to you? Are you, making it a priority to retreat? Are you making it a priority to rest? Are you making it a priority to sign up for the therapy? Invest in your mental freedom. Prioritize it. Because Matthew 6:33 says, "Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything that you need, all these things will be added unto you as well." We have to seek the kingdom when it comes to our mental capacities, when it comes to our mental freedoms. Are you asking God, is this the thing that I should be participating in? God, is this what you want me to do? We need to prioritize and invest, and that comes from sitting and spending time with the Father. Invest in. We invest in everything but our mental freedom. We want the outside looking good, but the inside is tore up. 2025, we're not doing that. Invest in your mental freedom. Put aside money. Whatever you don't use for Amazon, put that aside. If you say, you know what, I'm not going to buy from Amazon this month, whatever you would normally spend on Amazon, use that to invest in your mental freedom. Sign up for a Bible study. Do something that benefits your mental so that you're not continually overspending in things that you don't need to spend on. And that may look like creating a schedule to allocate where your mental energy is going every day. I understand you may have a family. I understand you may have a spouse. I understand you may have a partner. I understand that you have a job. You have a business to run. But when we allocate where our energy is going, that's where we go. We know when this is allocated here, I can take action there. So when I allocate, I can take action. Allocate where your energy is going. Don't spend your entire day scrolling social media, because all that does is mentally drain you. And now you're comparing your life to somebody else's life on social media. It looks good. And you think that they got it better than you do. Stop putting all your energy into Netflix, sitting there watching and binge watching shows. Trust me, I love a good show now. But we be binge watching shows when we need to be binge reading a chapter in the book so that we can go be better. So wherever your treasure is, that's where your heart. If you treasure investing, that's where your heart is going to be. If you treasure woe is me, that's where your heart's going to be. You're always going to have that victim mindset. But we're not doing that. Okay? And so remember, your mental energy is a precious gift. It's precious. It's precious. And you need to treat it like the limited resource that it is. It's limited. And if you don't treat it as limited, if you think that you got and is indisposable, then you're wrong. We have to treat this as a limited resource, and we have to treasure this gift that has been given to us. And I don't want you to give another thought to the thing that doesn't serve you. I don't want you to give another thought to that lie. I don't want you to give another thought to that little square picture that you saw on Facebook or Instagram. Don't give thought to these things. So by budgeting and identifying where you're spending, you can reclaim your peace, your focus, and your joy. We can reclaim some things that we've missed out on. So I have a question for you today. What's one area you've been overspending mental energy? And I want you to share it below. Share, because we're all going through something. We're all overspending our mental energy somewhere. And to be honest, I've overspent a lot of hours and minutes scrolling on social media because I didn't value who I was. I didn't value the life. I wasn't grateful for what I had. Right? So, what's one area that you're overspending in? And I want you to share it with me. And if you found this video beneficial, I want you to share it with a friend. I want you to share it out and give me one takeaway that you've gotten from this video. Because I want to make sure that I'm giving you the tips and tools so that you can triumph in life. I don't want to just be doing these videos. I want to make sure that it's bringing value, that it's bringing something that's going to help you through your year and help you through your day. So again, I am D. Latoya Matthews, your Freedom Ambassador, and I'm also going to keep you accountable. So if you watched this video and you shared it and you left a comment, trust and believe, I'm going to check back in with you to make sure that you're not overspending. And so until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Be blessed.